Hey guys, it's early morning and I'm just planning my brew day, trying to keep things quiet so the family can keep sleeping, but got a lot to do today. Got to clean a keg so I can empty a fermenter so I have enough carboy space for a double brew day. So hope it goes well, and I'm gonna need more coffee. We'll talk to you later. First thing we got to do is take the keg apart. So got to bleed off the pressure. And once the pressure's down, you can pop the lid. Get that in just some hot OxyClean, and then I will take apart the serving line and then remove the posts. And once you get the posts loosened, then since they're metal, you just got to break the seal. Important thing is make sure the poppets get clean. Since this is the CO2 in, it's not really going to get much material in it. But do that, put that in, and then the liquid post, you get that post loosened up, and this is the poppet that, this one's pretty clean. On hoppy pale ales and stuff, if you don't get a good crash, you'll get hop material stuck inside there, and it can be kind of a pain in the butt to clean up. But then take out the dip tube, then I'll scrub all that out, rinse out the keg. I'm gonna siphon, to clean the siphon, I'll actually siphon this into here, scrub the inside of the tank, and then dump it back into the bucket, and then we'll transfer sanitizer in here so it's ready to get used for that cider. Alright, so I forgot a step. Once the OxyClean is in the keg, that long dip tube, in order to help clean it out, I'm actually gonna force the solution out through the serving line into this bucket so that I can use that to clean some other equipment later. And since the line still has some of the porter that was in here, I'm just gonna quick bleed it off into the kitchen sink. And then fill this bucket up, and it takes a couple minutes to do that. Then once this is done, I'll do the same thing with Star San solution to sanitize the keg. I'll take all the posts off again, sanitize all that, transfer the Star San in, and then force it all out through the dip tube and the serving line so it's all sanitized for, so there's no contamination. Alright, so here I am in my basement brew room, gonna transfer this cider, which has been sitting with half a vanilla bean and a soft bark cinnamon stick in it. I'm gonna fill up the keg that I just got done cleaning, and then any of the remaining cider is going to go in with this keg that's about a little more than half empty. It's just straight apple cider. I'm hoping this will give a little more interest. This came out, it's tasty, but just kind of straightforward, not super interesting. So hoping this is an improvement so I don't have to dump it, but we're gonna do that. before I transfer into this, I have to add potassium sorbate. So potassium sorbate to inhibit or to stop the yeast from fermenting when I back sweeten it. So the instructions are 2.5 teaspoons per 5 gallons, or, you know, the instructions is actually 1/2 teaspoon per gallon, and 3 teaspoons is a tablespoon, so I'm doing just less than a tablespoon in there first. And this keg should be completely purged with CO2 because we used CO2 to push the sanitizer out. So the first batch of cider I did, I forgot to add pectic enzyme, so it stayed pretty cloudy. This is astonishingly clear to me, so gonna keep an eye on that. All right, so this is the view from my brewing area. This is our front yard. You can see the kids and the puppy have pretty much trampled down the snow completely, and it's a beautiful day. It's definitely shorts and t-shirt weather. My wife might argue at that point, but hey, it's a great day to be brewing. But I'll still be able to clip the bag in place while filling it. The brew in a bag kit comes with all the grains pre-cut, comes with all the grains pre-crushed. There is 9.5 pounds of 2-row, 1 pound of carapils, 1 pound of chocolate malt, and 8 ounces of Munich malt. So this, and it also has the pH stabilizer. So this is 12 pounds of malt that's going to be used to make 5 gallons of beer. And in addition to that, at 60 minutes we're going to add 1/2 ounce of Brewer's Gold, and then at 30 minutes we're going to do 1/2 ounce of Northern Brewer, and then it's going to ferment with SO4 Sapphire dry yeast, which is the wheat bread strain. We're just waiting for the kettle to get up to 170 degrees. It is at 130, and since I'm going to be hanging out here, I will go ahead and crank up the heat so we can get brewing. Alright, so while we're waiting for the water to come up to strike temperature, decided to open up that growler I mentioned earlier and give you your first glimpse at Driftless, which is a really hoppy pale ale. It's delicious. It may not be as clear as some people would care for, but that haziness is because of all the hops that are in it. But it's all, you can smell the citrus, maybe a little bit of pineapple, and you can definitely smell the malt coming through. But it is one of my favorite beers that are made at Real Deal. If you're in Menominee, you gotta stop in and try it out. Yeah, and they dry hop it a lot, so it's like the best candy because it's not sweet or overly sweet, but it's so delicious. You got to try it. And we'll save the rest for when we're done. The water is at almost 170 degrees, so we're going to start mashing in. And when you're doing brew in a bag, you want to add the malt slowly so that you can stir it into the water without it having time to clump up. And since there is 7 gallons of water here, you know, there's quite a bit of water to help break up any potential dough balls. All right, so the 1 hour mash has completed, and this is always the challenge. Oh crap! This is the challenging part with brewing a bag. Is you start with 12 pounds of malt, and it absorbs water, and so handling that, it gets kind of heavy, and it's still 150 some degrees, so you can't really hold on to it very well. And since this kettle has a lip, I just tried to get this as close as possible, so once most of the drainage has happened, I can just slide it over like so. And then try to stir this out. To get so you want all the malt submerged. So, all right. But I don't know how well you can see it with the camera where it is, but there's a good 4 inches between the burner and the bottom of the kettle. And if I don't have this door closed, the slightest breeze blows all of that heat out from under the burner. So that's one of the drawbacks. I wish I had known about this kettle or this burner when I purchased it, but gets the job done. Even outside, it just sometimes takes a bit longer to bring it up to a boil. All right, let's get this drained. So we'll stir it up one more time just to try to get a lot of water exchange against the grain to help get maximum sugars out. And then we gotta lift it up slowly, like we did before. We have boil, and looks like we got a good break. So I am going to do my first hop addition. Come on, die down, fall back in. All right. So that is one of the benefits of having lots of extra headspace in your kettle. Basically, if that would have happened in my other kettle when I'm doing a normal sized batch, it would have almost guaranteed a boil over because I only have a couple inches of headspace in my other kettle. But this one's got nice vigorous boil going, and I'll set the timer for 30 minutes. And then we'll do the next hop addition. And all right, 30-minute hop addition. Half ounce of Northern Brewer. Got 15 minutes left in the boil, so it's time to put my wort chiller in to sanitize it. Anytime you do this, there's always some residual water left in here, so make sure nothing is in the line of fire from the inlet and output on the chiller. So that. I learned a lesson: don't hook up the hose until you turn off the flame, otherwise you'll melt your hose. So tip from experience, but you can see the water starting to come out, and just making sure it's not dripping into the kettle, which it's not. The other thing I usually do is I will put my stir spoon in and just leave it in the kettle at this point. Leaving the spoon in the kettle will allow the boiling process to sanitize the spoon. And here we are at flame out. Since it's a porter, no last minute hops. There we go. Everything is off and drained. So we're just gonna run that off. All right, well, my brew day did not go as planned. Was hoping to get 2 brews done. My kettle wasn't ready to go because I disassembled the ball valve and didn't get it put back together in time for today. So got 1 batch of beer done in brew in a bag. If you're curious about brew in a bag or never tried it before, I hope watching me go through it helped. So now that the brew day's done, it's time to finish off this half growler and finish cleaning up. Just gotta wash the kettle and get the chiller drained out. It's inside so it won't freeze. Wisconsin, January. I almost forgot to take care of the hoses, and that would have been a disaster. But they're all drained and hanging up, so hopefully there's not enough water in them to do any damage. But here is the celebration beer. Oh yeah. Cheers. Happy Homebrew Wednesday.